Good evening, Patriots. Welcome to the Ryan Samuel Show. We are here. We're live. We have some big news this evening that we're going to talk about. We kind of knew that this was coming, but John Bolton has officially been indicted. The news is true. We had recently discussed, hey, Bubba, you coming to my show? Come on, you want to say hi to everybody? Yeah, you're supposed to be in bed. You're live on national television. Yeah, say hi. Hi. All right, where's Mama? Go with Mama. All right, Bubba, good night. So, John Bolton officially indicted. And it's going to be interesting. We're going to see. We're going to hear a lot about political retribution. We're going to hear about how this is a vendetta that Donald Trump has started and is going to continue to go against. We're going to see a lot that's going on. Thank you, honey. All right. I think we're finally ready to go now. But, you know, it's great to be here on this fine October evening where the leaves are falling, the pumpkin spice is flowing, and apparently so is the classified information from John Bolton's inbox. The leaves are not flowing, though, because I live in Florida, and neither is the pumpkin spice. But this is an 18-count federal indictment specifically for mishandling classified documents. Now, this is the same thing that Donald Trump was accused of, you know. But John Bolton looks like he stepped out of that the Civil War with that mustache, and he's now facing charges for over 1,000 pages of top secret diary-like entries to unauthorized folks while he was in the White House. So not only did he hold and possess these documents, he shared them with others. So this is not political retribution. You know, this is very sensitive stuff. And it's top secret, compartmented information. That's the kind of intel that could make James Bond blush. Now, I know some of you are thinking this smells like political playback. Bolton turned into Trump's biggest critic after leaving the administration, writing that tell-all book and yapping on every cable news show that would have him. And yeah, the timing is convenient, especially with reports that the DOJ is under pressure to go after Trump's foes. And they are under pressure to go after Trump's foes, but Trump's foes are not people who are innocent. These are people who are breaking the law. But let me tell you why this indictment is not just justified. It's downright necessary. And I'm here to argue in support of it, because accountability isn't a partisan game. It's the rules we all play by. First off, let's talk about facts, not feelings. Mishandling classified information is no joke. We're talking about national security here, the kind of stuff that keeps our troops safe, our allies informed, and our enemies guessing. Now, the allegations against Bolton are that he emailed this gold mine of secrets to a couple of unnamed associates on the regular, personal accounts that were unsecured. Now, if a low-level analyst did this, they'd be in Gitmo faster than you can say whistleblower. Why should a big shot like Bolton get a pass just because he had a fancy title in a book deal? It's just something that's not right. The basic low-level employee of the federal government knows and understands the importance of classified documents. And don't get me started on just this sheer hypocrisy. This is the same John Bolton who spent years hawkishly pushing for tough stances on Iran, North Korea, you name it. Yet here he is with emails that reportedly got hacked by folks tied to the Iranian government. Now, the man who wanted to bomb Tehran might have handed them a roadmap on a silver platter. That's not a reason to throw the book at him. If that's not a reason to throw the book at him, then I don't know what is. You know, I think accountability is imperative to secure our country. And now, in a world where leakers and loose lips sink ships, we need to hold everyone to the same standard. Remember Hillary's emails? The chance to lock her up? Well, if we're consistent, and we should be, then Bolton's actions scream for the same scrutiny. This isn't retribution, it's responsibility. The grand jury in Maryland didn't indict him because of his mustache or memoir. They did it because the evidence piled up like his unread classified memos. So yeah, I support this indictment 100%. It's a win for the rule of law, a reminder that no one is above it, and honestly, it's a little poetic justice for a guy who built his career on being the toughest hawk in the room but couldn't even secure his own nest. John, if you're watching, and I know you are, probably from a bunker, it's time to face the music, or in your case, the mustache trimmer. We'll be right back with more. Stay tuned. Do not go anywhere. 47 seconds.
Hey, Ryan. Hi, this is Sarah Palin.
Ryan, Donald Trump Jr.
Hogs to win, see you. Hey, everybody, I want y'all to check out a fellow Marines podcast.
My name is Ted Nugent, and I got a call from my buddy Ryan F. Samuels, and he wants me to tell you that he's a working hard, playing all-American son of a who is celebrating God, family, country.
Welcome to the Ryan Samuels Show, one of the top political podcasts in the United States, where we have a healthy distrust for government and mainstream media. The Ryan Samuels Show is a raw, unfiltered look at American politics. Follow on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Rumble, and all podcast platforms. Here is your host, Ryan Samuels.
Look at this man's mustache. This guy's the former head. I just realized we didn't have any audio there. I apologize. This guy's the former head of the National Security Agency. And how can you not have the basic understanding on how to keep documents safe? How can you go on national television and criticize Donald Trump? Thanks, JD. I got it, bud. How could you go on national television and criticize Donald Trump about his documents case while you're doing the same thing? You're actually doing something that's tremendously more worse. You're actually emailing classified documents from your personal account, which was attacked and hacked by Iran. This is this was put out by the FBI today. It says the FBI's investigation revealed that John Bolton's allegedly transmitted top secret information from using personal online accounts and retained said documents in his house in direct violation of federal law. The case was based on meticulous work from dedicated career professionals at the FBI who followed the facts without fear or favor. Weaponization of justice will not be tolerated, and this FBI will stop at nothing to bring to justice anyone who threatens our national security. That's a statement from Kash Patel. Now, the this is very serious. Okay, this is not a light charge. This is not a popcorn fart of an indictment. This is very serious, and we're going to go over it. I have the indictment. We're going to read it line by line and discuss it. But here is MSNBC reacting to 18 counts by a federal grand jury. Just look at the worry on their faces. This is just pause. Like they're, oh my God. It's happening.
Yeah, so John Bolton was charged with 18 federal counts, and I apologize, I'm going to look down. I'm reading this. We're still just getting this. We have the first 8 counts are transmission of national defense information. The second set of 9 counts, that's counts 9 through 18, is retention of national defense information. And that looks like it's U.S. Code Title 19, Section 793D and E, which is part of the Espionage Act. Now, there was another statute that they were considering, and it looks like they've only charged him with those Espionage Act statutes, but we're still reading through this indictment. It's 26 pages long. There's a lot of background information here, and I apologize, but we're literally just getting this in right now, so I'm still... Yeah, so John Bolton was charged with...
So this is serious. This is not a dog and pony show. The indictment is real. It's layered. There's 18 counts. And the penalty is stiff and severe, and as it should be. Edward Snowden is living in a sanctuary in Russia because Edward Snowden decided to do the correct thing, which was to notify the American people that the National Security Agency was spying on every aspect of their lives. He would be in federal prison, possibly the death penalty, Edward Snowden, for what he did. But for what John Bolton did, the charges are less severe, of course. Now, here is Donald Trump responding to John Bolton being indicted.
Just indicted by a grand jury in Maryland. Do you have a reaction to that?
I didn't know that. You told me for the first time, but I think he's, a bad person. I think he's
Correct.
a bad guy. Yeah, he's a bad guy. It's too bad, but that's the way it goes.
The case against him?
That's the way it goes, right? That's the way it goes. Will I what?
Have you reviewed the case against him?
No, I haven't. But I just think he's a bad person. Okay, anybody else?
Just indicted by a grand...
I don't think Trump isn't really involved in these indictments. I don't. Yeah, he's the president. He has come out and said to Pam Bondi, we need to go after these people. But I don't think he's sitting in a room and having meetings and saying, let's go after this person for this or this person for that. He knows that people broke the law, right? Like Letitia James broke the law to go after him. Fannie Willis broke the law to go after him. John Bolton broke the law. John Bolton did go after him. John Bolton should be persecuted for that. Period. I mean, there's really nowhere else to go with that. But let's watch this clip from CNN announcing the same thing.
That Bolton is expected to self-surrender as soon as tomorrow in federal court in Greenbelt, Maryland. So it's not going to be a long time until we start seeing more of the meat of what this case may be, and the court proceedings get off to a start very quickly. Casey?
Very interesting. All right, Caitlin, stand by for us. I know you're going to have more information coming in.
So what they're saying is he's going to turn himself in. Of course. What's he going to do? Run? I mean, where is he going to go? I don't know where he would go or what he would do. But here is a clip of the indictment, just a little snippet. We're going to read this together. This is from paragraph 11. From on or about April 9th, 2018 through on or about September 15th, 2019, on a regular basis, Bolton sent diary-like entries to individuals 1 and 2 that contained information classified up to the top secret CSI level. Bolton wrote many of these diary-like entries by transcribing his handwritten notes from his day's activities into word processing documents, which he then electronically sent to individuals 1 and 2 through a commercial non-governmental message application. On other occasions, Bolton used his personal non-governmental email accounts, such as email accounts hosted by AOL and Google, to email information classified up to the top secret CSI level to individuals 1 and 2 at their personal email accounts. This just looks like a guy who uses AOL. Period. At no point did Bolton have authorization to store or transmit the classified information that he sent to individuals 1 and 2 via his personal electronic devices and accounts, nor did at any time individuals 1 or 2 have authorization to know or store the classified information that Bolton sent. This is paragraph 14. At some point between when Bolton left government service in September 2019 and July 2021, a cyber actor believed to be associated with the Islamic Republic of Iran hacked Bolton's personal email account and gained unauthorized access to the classified national defense information in that account, which Bolton had previously emailed to individuals 1 and 2 while he was national security advisor. So because he used an unsecure means to transmit these secret documents, they were compromised and taken by a foreign adversary of the United States. So not only did he break the law, but by breaking the law, he placed the United States national security at risk. That's an important distinction. A representative for Bolton notified the U.S. government of the hack in or about 2021 and did not tell the U.S. government that the account contained national defense information, including classified information that Bolton had placed in the account from his time as national security advisor. Nor did Bolton's representatives tell the U.S. government that Bolton had shared some of that national defense information, including classified information with individuals 1 and 2 via personal email and non-governmental messaging application. Listen, when I was in the Marine Corps, I had a secret clearance. It was upgraded to a top secret clearance at one point. And I dealt with a lot of classified information. You do not do this. Yeah, I mean, our military people do not do this. How could the national security advisor not know to do this, not to do this? He obviously knew, somebody of this stature, somebody of this, at this level of government clearly knows that, number one, I guess you could make an argument about storing documents at home, right? But not sending them through an unsecured email unless it was something that was declassified. But I think he's in a lot of trouble. I think that we are going to see him convicted. I think we're going to get a conviction out of this. I don't know if we'll see prison time. I mean, he is clearly a first-time offender with a long history of service to the United States. Judges typically don't sentence those types of people to prison. Okay? Probation, fines, things of that nature. But his career is basically screwed. And it's ironic because he celebrated John Trump's prosecution. He celebrated it, and we have clips of that we're going to go and discuss. But here's another clip from CNN talking about the indictment.
Multiple sources are telling CNN the Justice Department will ask a federal grand jury today to indict President Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton. This would be the third indictment of the president's self-described political enemies in just 3 weeks.
So that's what the CNN is going to do. They're going to say, oh, it's his political enemies. Well, these political enemies are actually breaking the law. These political foes, a lot of them broke the law in order to go after Donald Trump.
I'm joined here at the table with a terrific group of reporters, including Caitlin Polance, who is bringing us this reporting. Caitlin, what do we know?
Well, Dana, we know now from various sources that the grand jury in Maryland in federal court is expected to be hearing evidence about John Bolton this afternoon. The Justice Department is expected to go in there and ask for an indictment of the former national security advisor to Donald Trump and somebody who is not just well known from the Trump era, but a longtime government official. This is a case where it's been in the works for years. It's been worked on because Bolton at one point was discovered having an AOL email account, according to the sources I've talked to.
He is the... How could you still have an AOL email account in 2025? I don't understand.
Where he was writing notes to himself about his time in the Trump White House, and that could include classified documents. We also know from a recent search just 2 months ago that there were many documents, including ones labeled as about weapons of mass destruction, about Allied strikes, things that had markings on them that said classified, secret. There were phones, computers, drives, all of that seized from his house. His lawyer has said this could all be very old material from the George W. Bush administration.
It doesn't matter if it's not declassified and it's not secured. That's a legal problem. It may not be that big of a deal, right? But it is a legal problem. And you know, John Bolton, that Donald Trump is going to gun for you. Like you know that, and you're dumb enough to have documents with classified labels, folders labeled Trump, binders labeled statements and reflections to Allied strikes, memo documents with page labeled secret, docs about the U.S. mission to the United Nations, confidential documents, government communication plan records, iPhones, computers, hard drives, USB drives, all containing classified information. You have that at your house. Like, why wouldn't you get rid of that? Like, did you really believe that Donald Trump was not going to go this far? Or that the federal government was not going to go this far after you aided and abetted for them to go after him? That's what confuses me.
And nothing inappropriate was being kept by Bolton, but there is still a important possibility here that this is a very serious national security case and that the Justice Department does continue wanting to enforce cases like these. It might not be all of a political decision.
So, Caitlin, and that's really important. It's something that you emphasized yesterday when you brought us your new great reporting then.
It's going to be interesting. But the grand juries will indict anybody or anything. So just because that there's a grand jury does not mean that he's guilty. He has to be guilty in the eyes of the law. And we're not hearing the entire story yet. We'll hear that if it even goes to trial, or if he might just take a plea deal and be done with it. But he did celebrate Trump's charges, and I think that was a mistake, man. As a former member of the administration, you clearly had some issues with Donald Trump, but anybody with a rational, logical thought process could see if they actually were in the sphere and looked into it and tried to remain unbiased, that Donald Trump was being persecuted as a political figure. Here's John Bolton on CNN. This is June of 2023, talking about Trump pleading not guilty to all 37 charges.
Well, I think it's a devastating indictment. It's very powerful in the way that it's portrayed, but it's also very narrow, very targeted. The government didn't throw everything in the kitchen sink at the wall. It has focused this in a way that I think, as a matter of law, is going to be very difficult for the president to resist. I think the real question is the question of timing and scheduling. You know, if Donald Trump were an honest man, if he were an innocent man, he'd be saying, I want the trial within 30 days. I want this cloud removed from over my head. I want this stain on my reputation removed. So we'll wait and see what Donald Trump does. I think he'll try and postpone it to after the 2024 election. So my suggestion to Jack Smith and the Justice Department is go lean on the Manhattan District Attorney and get him to move his trial until after the election. This trial should take precedence. We'll find out whether Alvin Bragg is a real prosecutor or a political hack. The answer to their complaint about...
So what he's saying is, this is back in June of 2023 during the indictments of Donald Trump, is he is publicly on CNN telling Jack Smith to use leverage of the federal government on state prosecutors to move their trial so that his trial could be done before the election, which is crazy.
Answer to their complaint about a double standard, the question they should be asked is, even though Biden has escaped scot-free, Clinton has escaped scot-free, fill in the blank has escaped scot-free, is the answer to the double standard to let Donald Trump escape scot-free? Is the answer to the double standard to revert to no standard at all? I think that's wrong.
I think you're now in the same boat, homie. And I think that you are about to learn a very hard lesson. Just look at this guy. Here's exclusive footage of the FBI searching him and finding classified documents.
We seem to have breaking news. Apparently, the FBI has found the USB thumb drive they were looking for. Mr. Bolton was reportedly hiding it under his mustache. This is apparently the same technique he used to smuggle information in and out of the State Department. Apparently, it was President Trump who alerted the FBI to make sure they checked under his mustache. He said, and I quote, "Make sure you look under that son of a bitch's mustache. I never trusted that mustache." We seem to have breaking.
That's funny. That's obviously an AI-generated photo video that I found. I don't know who made it to give them credit, but yeah, I mean, listen, this is not the only thing that's going to happen. There's a lot more to come. We got Letitia James. We got a lot of this stuff coming down the pipeline. Here is a clip from MSNBC talking about the grand jury that's going to hear evidence before the indictment came down. Now, when you know that the grand jury is going to hear evidence, the indictment's coming, right? Grand juries, man, the statistic is like 0.01% of grand juries do not indict in anywhere. I mean, there's almost 0 point to a grand jury. There is no point to a grand jury because a grand jury is just the prosecution and a group of citizens, and they convince them that they have the evidence. There's nobody there to protest the probable cause evidence. There's no judge there to overrule it. It's a stupid thing that checks the box to say, oh, a jury of your peers found probable cause. No, they didn't. A jury of your peers did not find probable cause in a grand jury. A grand jury was manipulated and convinced by the prosecution 100% of the time. Now, that doesn't mean that the prosecution's wrong. It does mean that you could get is that you could have a corrupt prosecution always get an indictment. Hey, Michelle, welcome on. Michelle said, really, it's distract. I don't even listen to those dudes anymore. Okay. I'm not sure what dudes you're talking about. That must have been from earlier. All right, let's listen to this clip from MSNBC. Just look at the looks on their faces, like so disappointed.
Good morning, Ariel. We believe that prosecutors are presenting charges under the Espionage Act accusing John Bolton of mishandling classified information. That comes after the FBI secured search warrants to search his home and office and found some classified documents in that search. But it's not clear that those were related to what this case is about. The affidavit of probable cause also mentions that John Bolton's email account had been hacked by a foreign government, and the referral for this case came from the CIA, and it's my understanding that the U.S. found some information as they were gathering intelligence from that foreign government. They found John Bolton's emails, essentially, and they discovered things that led them to be suspicious that he was mishandling classified information, and that's what generated this case. This was back in the Biden administration. However, that Justice Department did not move forward with the case.
So MSNBC has just said that this was done under the Biden administration. But that Justice Department decided not to pursue that case. I wonder why. I wonder why they didn't.
Justice Department did not move forward with the case. There were some concerns about revealing the access that the U.S. had to the foreign government. The Trump administration made a different calculation. They are moving forward with the case. Of course, everyone knows that John Bolton is a political adversary and critic of Donald Trump, and Donald Trump has said, he does not appreciate John Bolton at all. There was a dispute about a book that John Bolton wrote. The Trump administration, the first Trump administration, accused him of putting classified information in that book. So now here we are with prosecutors presenting to a grand jury and trying to seek an indictment that could come as soon as this afternoon, Ariel.
Now here we are. Lisa, so do we know anything about who could be arguing this case to the grand jury?
Anybody can argue a case to a grand jury. If you're hanging on in any grand jury that an indictment is not going to come back, that's just insane. But here is John Bolton celebrating Donald Trump's arrest and search warrants of Mar-a-Lago over having classified documents.
Neither I nor anybody else not involved in the case knows what's in the documents yet. But I do know what kinds of documents were put in front of the president during my time, I'm sure during the entire 4 years of his term. And they did go to absolute, the most important secrets that the United States has.
So he's talking about how the classified documents that Donald Trump had in his private dormitory, in his room in Mar-a-Lago, is very sensitive, high-level information. But John Bolton had in his house and was sending them to people in an unsecured email, documents that talked about strategies against Iran. And his email was hacked and Iran got the information. Now, was it actually hacked? Did he set it up so that Iran would hack it and they paid him for that so he could escape culpability? You never know. There's reasons why these politicians or these high-level intelligence people make $100,000 a year, $200,000 a year, and then leave office and they're worth $30 million, $100 million. So how could Iran even know to hack your personal email? How would they even know how to find your personal email? You're the national security advisor. You're one of the highest level intelligence agents in the history of the United States. Like, you don't get any higher or more involved in our intelligence community than John Bolton. So explain how you're sending classified information through a AOL account. Like, what are you even doing using AOL? Like, I get it. You're old. You're a boomer. Like, it's okay. But why would you send classified information to that unless you wanted it to be hacked? Obviously, that's 100% speculation. I don't know. But to do that, as you sit in the CNN This Morning room, knowing you have all this classified documents at your house, to sit there and verbally talk about how Donald Trump is in a lot of trouble for having these classified documents is some of the biggest gaslighting I've ever seen in my life.
Directly affecting national security, directly affecting the lives and safety of our service members and our civilian population. If he has anything like what the indictment alleges, and of course the government will have to prove it, then he has committed very serious crimes. This is a devastating indictment. I speak here as an alumnus of the Justice Department myself, because not only is it powerful, it's very narrowly tailored. They didn't throw everything up against the wall to see what would stick.
Yes, they did. And I just don't understand how you could do that. While you're sitting there saying that, you have your own classified documents that you're sending out through email. Donald Trump didn't send them anywhere electronically. Yeah, he had some classified documents, and I guess it's you could dispute whether or not Donald Trump could have taken them, because I guess he could declassify them or maybe not, or we don't even really know what the classified documents were. As I've said before, like when you're president of the United States, everything is classified. Your meals are classified. Like if you're going to go for lunch and you want to write what the president's going to do for lunch today, and you want to write he wants a McDonald's cheeseburger, we're going to get it from this McDonald's in Washington, D.C. That's classified. And it's classified because we don't want anybody to get access to the president's food. But could you just take that classified document that, oh my God, he took his old menu, his old lunch menu, and now that's classified documents. Oh, he had classified documents in his house. Was it that minor? I don't know. I'm not really sure, but it could be, right? But in the John Bolton case, it's different because he had actual war plans. And on top of that, he didn't just have actual war plans. He was emailing them to unidentified people. Now, they haven't identified who those people are yet, but they're going to come out, and I'm sure we're going to find out unless they're active agents. And to boot, not only was he emailing them from an unsecured place without the permission of the intelligence agencies, they were hacked by a foreign adversary. So this is all piling on itself. Here's another piece of the indictment. On or about July 6, 2021, a representative for Bolton contacted the Federal Bureau of Investigation via email to alert the FBI that an entity believed to be by Bolton's representative to be the Islamic Republic of Iran had obtained unauthorized access to one of Bolton's personal email accounts. In the email to the FBI, Bolton's representative stated that evidently someone has gotten into Ambassador Bolton's personal email account and that it looks as if this someone in Iran. On or about July 28th, 2021, Bolton's representative emailed the FBI again to report that Bolton and his representatives had received the following email on or about July 25th, which representative believed was associated with the hack of Bolton's account. This is the email. I do not think you would be interested in the FBI being aware of the leaked content of John's email, some of which has been attached, especially after the recent acquittal. This could be the biggest scandal since Hillary's emails were leaked, but this time on the GOP side. Contact me before it's too late. That's what the email said. Bolton's representative also told the FBI that the representative was just sending you the text, not the document, the hacker, attached since there might be sensitive information in there. But the other thing is that Bolton did not tell the FBI, hey, listen, they hacked my personal email. And then the FBI goes, okay, well, that's not really that big of a deal because there's no classified information in there. Right? And I don't know if the FBI asked that question, but he never told the FBI, hey, they hacked my personal email and I may have sent classified information through there that I should not have. And Iran now has it. Bolton's representatives also told the FBI that the representative was just sending you the text, not the documents. We read that. A day later, on or about July 29th, 2021, a representative told the FBI that Bolton would be deleting the contents of his personal email account that had been hacked. On or about August 5th, 2021, Bolton received another electronic message related to the hack of his personal email account, which stated, okay, John, as you were apparently will disseminate the expurgated sections of your book by reference of your leaked email. At no point did Bolton tell the FBI, while he was the national security advisor, he had used the hacked email account to send individuals 1 and 2 classified documents. That's a major problem. All he had to do is tell the FBI. And no, he shouldn't have been doing it, but they would have been like, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. This is, here's an old video. This is after Mar-a-Lago was raided by the FBI. John Bolton demanded that the DOJ move as rapidly as possible to prosecute Donald Trump over the classified documents hoax. He's now being indicted for keeping classified documents at his home. Let's watch this old clip of John Bolton celebrating and demanding the federal government continue to pursue Donald Trump over the same thing he was doing at the time.
It's maybe of the highest level of sensitivity, or they may not. We just don't know. So we could speculate all night here. I'd prefer that the Justice Department move as rapidly as possible as they can through this, in order that as much as can be made and would be made public is done as quickly as we can, because otherwise the department is left out there twisting in the wind, to use a Watergate phrase, and it doesn't have adequate defenses against the political onslaught of Donald Trump. It's maybe of the highest.
Look at just the confidence that you can sit there knowing you're doing the same thing that's even worse and just scream it out to the American public. These are the deep state people that everybody's talking about. Here's another one. John Bolton in 2022 saying that Trump and his movement are finished. Bolton. Trump and his movement are finished. It's over. My, how the tables have turned, John.
Trump's influence is declining. That hurts some people's feelings who want to use Trump to anathematize the entire Republican Party. But that gambit isn't going to work. If I do get in, it will be to win the nomination, not simply to prove a point. That's a serious, difficult decision to make, and I'm going to consider it in a prudent fashion. This whole idea that there's a Trump movement out there is simply wrong. The fundamental point in politics is philosophy. Everything else flows from that. Donald Trump has no philosophy. Donald Trump doesn't think in policy terms. There is no Trumpism. He's an aberration in American politics, and it's the job not of the liberal media, not of the Democratic Party. It's the job of Republicans to repair the damage he's done, and that's part of what we're about here. My kind of conservatism, the kind that I supported when Barry Goldwater ran for president and when Ronald Reagan ran for president, is the mainstream of the Republican Party. These outliers, and there are some, there is a virus of isolationism within the party, but it's not a conservative philosophy. It's not a philosophy at all. It's performance art. That's what Donald Trump was.
I've said that before about Donald Trump not really having a political philosophy, and that's okay. But, I mean, I guess that was wrong there, John. Here is CNN in another clip responding. Let's watch this.
Casey, John Bolton, the former national security advisor to Donald Trump, a longtime federal government official, has been indicted by a grand jury. We are learning that through two different sources from our producer, Hannah Rabinowitz, at the Justice Department. And we have confirmed that the grand jury was in today with the lead prosecutor on that case, the same prosecutor who had been on some of the documents of the search of Bolton's house just 2 months ago, or not even 2 months ago.
Of course it would be the same prosecutor. That's why the prosecutor got the search to their house, is to get evidence to indict him. And look at the shock on her face. I didn't watch this clip, so I don't know what she's going to say yes, but it's the same prosecutor.
A prosecutor who also has some experience in investigating these sorts of things. He was a prosecutor that was also working on the Biden classified documents handling investigation that led to no charges. But in this situation, the bulk of this case, it's been going on for several years, and our understanding is that it's about John Bolton's use of an email account with AOL, an email account where he was writing diary-like notes and summaries of his time as National Security Advisor to himself, at times even sending them to his wife and daughter. And that is the sort of thing that the Justice Department does say frequently, not just in the climate of a Trump administration, that that's something that you should not do. We have seen many charges like this before of other high-ranking officials, and that also with John Bolton in those search warrants, and what we're very likely to see in court going forward is that the Justice Department saying he should have known better.
Yes. He did know better. It's not that he should have known better. He did know better, and he did it anyway. Here's another MSNBC clip. The Democrats are panicking. They're freaking melting down. They're melting down over this. Because like this, all of their tactics backfired. And it's hilarious. Let's watch this from MSNBC. Make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button. If you're not following the channel, follow it. We got a bunch of people on YouTube right now. YouTube is actually starting to take a little bit of a turn for the positive. So YouTube, guys, if you're not following, follow. Okay, let's watch this clip.
They do it, but why are we even having this conversation? Why is this happening? Because Donald Trump has ordered his Justice Department to systematically go after his political opponents. Again, show me the man, I will show you the crime. And
that's exactly what you did to Donald Trump. Show me the man, I'll show you the crime.
Think that, again, we need to balance those thoughts at the same time. And I really appreciate the caution with which people are addressing this right now and the distinctions between this prosecution and, say, the prosecution of James Comey. But let's never forget that this prosecution is taking place because Donald Trump wills it and will continue, as Maya just said, will continue to insist upon these kinds of vindictive prosecution. They do it. But
yes. And I hope he does. Because what goes around comes around. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. And if you're going to hold Donald Trump accountable for taking home classified documents and celebrate it, you're going to be held accountable too. Here's Fox News.
Regs, there's no statute of limitations on this. He continued to possess classified documents.
Yeah, Will, I'll tell you, I've worked on these cases both on the prosecution side and on the defense side, and I'll tell you they are very difficult cases to defend against because it is in essence a simple analysis. Is the document classified? Is it in your possession? Did you purposefully possess the document in question? And then you reach other analyses. You look at what was the purpose for the possession to determine whether or not additional charges may be brought. Remember, though, I'm very mindful of the fact that Bolton has a lot of knowledge and a lot of insight. There's may be an effort to also get his attention and get him talking about other things that he may have information about. This is just the beginning, the tip of the iceberg. I think it's a difficult case to defend against. He, of all people, should know. Doesn't matter if it's old or new materials. If it's classified and you possessed it, then it could be a crime.
Definitely. Definitely. Here is an NBC special report.
And good afternoon. We are coming on the air with breaking news. NBC News has just learned that President Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, has just been indicted by a federal grand jury. That, according to a senior official in the department. Bolton has become a prominent political foe of the president after he was pushed out of his role during the president's first term. Today's indictment comes weeks after the FBI searched his home in Maryland as part of a national security investigation back in August related to classified records. This is just the latest against the president's political enemies after the justice.
It's all word track. It's all a word track. This is just the latest. in a slew of the president's political enemies.
Departments, former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James were also indicted. And good afternoon. We are.
I love it. And yes, before all you libtards, you far left extremists, before you come on and you say, did you vote for this? Yes, I voted for this. I voted for more than this. I don't want to see them just indicted. I want to see them serve time in prison. That's what I want to see. Do you agree? Drop it in the comments. If you're listening on the podcast, make sure you download. If you guys are just watching and you're not on the podcast, make sure you listen on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, on your way to work, on your way home from work. Episodes are an hour long. They're released right after the show, which is live Monday through Friday on all social media networks. Let's watch this clip from CNN.
Bolton says, I have become the latest target in weaponizing the Justice Department to charge those he deems to be his enemies with charges that were declined before or distort the facts. My book was reviewed and approved by the appropriate experienced career clearance officials. When my email was hacked in 2021, the FBI was made fully aware. John Bolton continues, in 4 years of the prior administration, after these reviews, no charges were ever filed. Then came Trump 2, he says, who embodies what Joseph Stalin's head of secret police once said, you show me the man and I'll show you the crime. John Bolton's statement ends, these charges are not just about his focus on me or my diaries, but his intensive effort to intimidate his opponents, to ensure that he alone determines what is said about his conduct. Dissent and disagreement are foundational to America's constitutional system and vitally important to our freedom. I look forward to the fight to defend my lawful conduct and to expose Trump's abuse of power. Jake?
All right, Caitlin Polans, thanks.
I mean, this is not an abuse of power. I really do not believe that this is an abuse of power, and it's going to be hard to make an argument against that. I mean, for that, it's going to make it's going to be hard because the problem is, and I keep saying this. This is going to go back and forth. The Republicans did not start this. The Democrats started this when they went after Donald Trump. Now Donald Trump is going after the people that went after him. And then when Trump gets out of office, then what's going to happen after that? Are the Democrats going to go back after Trump and J.D. Vance and pursue Kash Patel and try to go after all of these people, Pam Bondi, and try to arrest them for their misconduct or whatever? I mean, this is unprecedented. I think a message needs to be sent. But it's going to take a strong voice to come in and say enough is enough. And I'm hoping that voice is J.D. Vance. I hope that we get through this. I want to see the indictments. I think these people 100% need to be held accountable for abusing the justice system and changing laws and pressuring grand juries to falsely go after Donald Trump. These people need to be in jail to deter future people from doing that again. But somebody needs to step in after the fact and say, listen, we're done. We're not going after political enemies. We can agree to disagree. We all need to follow the law, and we don't need to be persecuting each other. And I'm hoping that is J.D. Vance when he wins in 2028. That's what I want to see. But John Bolton is in a lot of trouble. And I think this is like one of those cut and dry cases. It's not like he allegedly had it. Number one, they found it in his home. Okay. Number two, there's a digital trail of him sending it out. That's another charge. It's one charge to possess the top secret information or classified information. It's another to share it with an outsider. And then it's another to have it compromised by a foreign nation. So we're going to stay on top of this. There's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't know about. Do they just want to get to John Bolton to see if he will give up information? Because he was obviously part of the coup to go after Donald Trump. Will he talk and say that, yes, Joe Biden came out and wanted us to do X, Y, and Z, or his wife, Jill Biden, wanted us to do X, Y, and Z, or members of the Biden administration wanted us to do this. I met with Letitia James or Fannie Willis or whatever. Or do they just want to go after him to prove a point? These are the things that we need to decipher, and we're going to see. It's going to take some time, but we've only been 8 months in, and so much have been done. We need to keep going, keep pushing forward, keep fighting, and restore this country back to what it used to be and make America great again. Thank you very much for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Go to RyanFSamuels.com. Get cool gear like this shirt right here, this patriotic shirt with the 1776 on the sleeve and the join or die. Really good deals. I got my Don't Tread on Me hat. This is awesome quality right here. This is great, stitched with Sic Semper Tyrannis on the side, thus always to tyrants. Make sure you tune in, download the podcast, follow, tell a friend about it, get the word out there. The fight is not over. We are not done. Just because Trump got elected, we still need to fight for our freedom, our rights, our future, and our children. Thank you. I love you. God bless you. God bless our troops, and God bless the United States. Good night.
Thanks for tuning in to The Ryan Samuels Show. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.